prediction?
¿Qué hora es? ¡Domingo!
Are you ready?
Ya lo sabes,
We're ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war, maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go! Way pop!
I have to put the joke.
No, hey, thank you. Perfect play, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to our Sunday recap. We are Long Live Boxing en Vivo podcast. Aquí, Manny, siempre en vivo, Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa. Hopper.
We're going to break it down like it is, like it should be, like we do most of every Sunday, and with a lot of action coming up in the future and what had happened last night in a very good, okay card. But on the other side, one of them that, that canceled and postponed. I think we're going to really give, our thoughts and see what happens today. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you all support. So we break it down.
Definitely.
What do we got?
All right, so let's get to it. We don't want to bury the lead, even though it's not actually a fight.
Please.
It took so much of the energy of the boxing fans. Boxing Twitter was in a rage. The UK was in flames on the boxing side.
Unbelievable.
Disappointing. We were getting ready to talk about a fight that,
Shame.
we thought it was going to come through, but it didn't come to fruition. So if you weren't aware, now you're aware now. We're talking about the Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn fight. Chris Eubank Jr. fight didn't come to fruition. We found out late Wednesday that during the workout that Conor Benn had popped dirty. VADA tested, saw that he had a banned substance in his system. Again, VADA is something that they enroll in voluntarily. They did one of their random checks, and he popped dirty for a substance that was banned. And the fight, it was up to the BBBC, the boxing, the British Boxing Chamber of Commerce. So they were deciding on if they wanted to go ahead and have the fight or not. Because it wasn't the thing about VADA, to let people know, they can only make you aware of the test. They can't suspend you. They can't suspend you. They can't stop anything. They're just basically making you aware. We run the test. We give you the information. So it's on the sanctioning bodies, and like the case of the Triple BC, if they're going to move forward on that and how they want to move forward. So at the very last minute, because it seemed like it wasn't going to happen, then it was going to happen. But the last minute they decided to pull out.
The testing, the people who actually do, or the organization that actually does the testing for the BBBC is UKAD. That's the actual official testing body for the BBBC, and it's complicated, it's murky, and that actually, that leads to a few questions that I need answers to, Gringo.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, it's definitely disappointing. I know that, legendary promoter Frank Warren said it was one of the darkest weeks. I don't want to misquote him. I think he said it was actually, one of the darkest weeks in UK boxing for the Battle of the Brits. It was set up. But
and Frank Warren said that, right? Frank Warren said that.
Yeah, Frank Warren.
We gotta take that with a little grain of salt. He's a little exaggerating a little bit because he's a rival promoter with Eddie Hearn. So he's gonna put a little salt in the wound for his pal Eddie.
Yeah, a little bit. So it does seem a little bit like something that we didn't necessarily want. I had embraced it from the standpoint of I was confused because I was feeling like they were doing such a great job, and I said it on several of our shows that I liked the way that they were moving Conor Benn, and then all of a sudden it seemed like, okay, this is like a random one-off money grab because they didn't really know what they wanted to do with Chris Eubank Jr. You know, he was kind of floundering, so to speak. You know, they only took him to a certain point. And then it's like, you know what? Let's go ahead and put this fight together, which made no sense. You had weird the stipulations as far as like the weight. It was a catch weight, which I'm never a fan of those.
We knew the purpose didn't go that there was anything big for Conor Benn down at 147 right now. So making this fight happen is just leads them to continue right to the path to see if he wants to, you know, stick on with the 154 or go back to 147, which in fact you got no shots out there to do anything or make any kind of money. So it kind of makes sense when the fight was made for two reasons. Number one, the battle of the brick. Number two is giving him an opportunity to see where is he going to go afterwards. And if he would have impressively beat Eubanks, hey, you know, a lot of doors were going to be open for him. So it was a fight that makes sense. It was weird, but man, I mean, I just, you know, a great story ended up with a horrible ending. You know what I mean? It's just a soury taste. And I'm talking from a fan, you know, from a casual fan perspective. It's like, you know, not understanding a lot of what goes behind or anything that, you know, within the testing or what kind of drug or what is it. But we know for a fact that anything that enhances the ability of you to perform at a higher level and it's banned, why? Right?
Yeah.
And then you got all the people who, you know, what are people who bought tickets? The people who were going to show up in there. You know what I mean? It's like, exactly, the undercard. How much money these guys spend in their account.
Training, expenses,
and right now they're not going to get paid because they're not fighting because someone unknowingly or however it was, right, did something that you know. So for me, that was like a very sour taste that you said it.
No, definitely. So let me play this real quick. We got a clip from 2019. This is Conor Benn responding to the reports when Big Baby Miller had popped dirty when he was fight AJ. So let's play that real quick, and then we'll go to another clip of Eddie Hearn commenting on the situation.
About potentially that fight between Joshua and Miller being cancelled. How you've reacting as a boxing fan yourself?
Well, I just heard it when I got to the gym this morning. I can't believe it. The biggest night of your life, biggest fight of your career, and you know you get tested positive for a banned substance. It baffles me.
When you see boxers at the top level concern themselves with these sort of issues, especially this close to a massive fight, I mean, does that not concern you as a professional in that field?
Well, my nutritionist, think I'm not even, you know, at world level. My nutritionist has a go at me for taking vitamin C tablets if they've not been tested. So the team he's got around him should say, listen, check all your substances. You're earning a few good quid here, and why put that to risk?
Okay, in fairness to him, I mean, in this, you know, it's hard to defend that. I mean, I'm sure if you play clips of me, I contradict myself quite a bit too.
Nah, not that much. Just every episode.
Quite a few quid. So it's like the money. He was not on the world stage like he is now, in fairness, 2019. But I guess he kind of always was. I mean, his father was a world champion. You know, he always had that legacy. And in the UK, we know how they follow and support their fighters. So that's one thought. Before we get a reaction, let's see if we got a comment here. What's up? So what's up to everybody in the chat? Saludos to Sports. Much love, brother. Shout out to Bruce. All gas, no breaks. Boxing, jazz, and more. And of course, our brother from another mother, Steve. These guys haven't to eat their words. Old clips. Yeah, man. And I love to dig them up. And
that's the beauty about keeping all this stuff. And, you know, when you go to the media and you say something, it's going to hunt you forever. And this is one of those things, right, that you got to eat your own words.
All right, definitely.
From all that shit talking you did.
So Eddie Hearn, who, he's had a lot of, been very, I'd say vocal and outspoken in terms of, you know, testing and VADA and, you know, the safety of the fighters, because you hear that word a lot, safety. But this is his immediate reaction to the situation. You can see the full video on IFL, on the YouTube channel.
Well, firstly, you have a young fighter who obviously protests he's complete innocent in the situation. And that process is to be dealt with by Conor Benn. He's got a very tricky time coming up, as I said. Eventually, people will be able to make their own decisions and everything. I feel like, because I've been here before in situations, you should let the information come out.
All right, so let the information come out. Let this information come out. All right.
Let this information come out. I mean, fuck.
The information's out, brother. So we'll have to see where that goes. But first, you know what that means? I hear it coming.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Here we go. Hopper ranted.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. I want all the smoke. Okay, now first let me go ahead and say, when this fight was announced, yes, I did call it a stupid ass fight. But as usual, when the fight date actually gets closer and it's fight week, hey, it's boxing.
Excited.
I'm ready to watch it. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
And then boom. We get hit with the news about Conor Benn testing positive for clomiphene. Now, this whole situation, it's an ugly situation, and it's exposing the ugly side of boxing, because with this, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. If you take a look at it, a good hard look at everything that needs to be addressed. First of all, there's some people that we need to hear from. I know Conor Benn posted a social media message, but it was just him maintaining that he wants to clear his name because he is a clean athlete. Okay, well, elaborate on that, Mr. Benn. We need to hear from you. How did clomiphene end up in your system? It's a fertility drug. It's used as a masking agent, but it's given to women who are struggling to get pregnant. How did that end up in your body? And we need answers to that. I mean, and in this climate, he can say, well, I was trying to get pregnant, and he might get away with it. the way
that's the problem.
Now.
You want answers, but all of a sudden it's going to say unknowingly it got into my body.
Yeah.
That's
so
what pisses me off.
We need first. That's the first person we need to hear from is Conor Benn. Number two is we need to hear from Mauricio Sulaiman, Mr. WBC, Mr. Clean supporting. He wants clean boxing. Well, let's make a statement out here. Is he going to look the other way because it's Conor Benn, one of the high-profile fighters in the UK? Or what's going? He's been a big advocate on clean boxing, and he's been quiet. I haven't heard anything from him. I don't know if you guys have, but also if you look at the situation, if you believe the reports and what they're saying is true, everybody found out about this. Everybody involved in the situation knew about it a month ago. Why did it take a reporter to break the news? The Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is the one that broke this news. Why did it take a reporter breaking the news instead of a boxing promoter or the boxer itself getting ahead of it and owning up to it and lead? They knew this was going to happen. So that's just one of many questions that need to be answered. And maybe take a look at Eddie Hearn. He's been playing damage control. So who leaked the story from the Daily Mail? And another thing that kind of bugs me is, why do you use VADA? And if you're not going to necessarily go with their results, because they were still trying to find loopholes in this situation and prevent to save the fight. So you use VADA, but you don't necessarily want to use their results.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they were debating, because their official testing is the UKAD, which does the testing for the BBBC, and it's complicated and it's murky. But there's the outside source is VADA. It's more thorough testing. And so when they pop clean, you don't necessarily want to use their results. Why? That really doesn't make much sense. So this whole situation is exposing the bad side of boxing, because if it was any other sport, you pop dirty, I mean, it's a wrap. You're done. You're suspended. You're disqualified from the event. But in boxing, because boxing is backroom deals, favors for this, it's shady. It is what it is. And nobody really seems to talk about that side. Nobody's asking, like, why, where's the party at? Where's the people that are supposed to investigate this? Why aren't they matching the same level of energy that Conor Benn and his team are in proclaiming their innocence? Like, I mean, and because it's boxing,
based on the high profile.
The other way, it's boxing. Nobody really gives a shit. Nobody wants to find out the answers, and it's sad. And this is, if you take a look at it, a good hard look at it, the whole situation is a mess, and it's ugly, and it's exposing the ugly side of boxing. Tons of questions we need answered, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to give us anything.
Muted.
You're mute.
Thank you, brother. One thing that they have on there, even on the thumbnail, it still has, it's not like it's canceled. It's been postponed. So the fight is still a possibility. I know some people have the mindset, so I love the thought of my brothers, and good stuff right there, Hopper, is that, is it just the fact of, equal playing field? Obviously, you're dealing with a banned substance, and you could put somebody in harm's way, because it's not baseball or another sport where the possibility of dying.
You're not inflicting damage onto an opponent.
That's
it's extremely dangerous. So is it just a simple fact of, well, if Chris Eubank Jr. agrees to it, they should fight? Or do you think that it should just be a done deal? It shouldn't happen. Where do you stand on the fight right now? Because there's a possibility.
Man, I don't know. Because speaking of Chris Eubank Jr., he posted on social media a picture of him, and man, he looked bones.
Ripped.
It was nothing
Ripped
but
as fuck.
bones. That did not look healthy. Maybe it was for the best that and this is why I talked about in the beginning when this fight was announced, how I said this was a stupid ass fight, because you have Chris Eubank Jr. draining himself, going all the way down, and then you have Conor Benn moving up, which led
a lot
to him,
easier to move up than
taking
coming down.
probably being influencing his decision in taking clomiphene. It's unhealthy for both guys, and this is what happens. Boom, just Eddie Hearn, Mr. Hearn, we love you as a promoter, but this is the kind of worms that you have when you got these guys trying to match up in divisions. It's just nasty, man. Maybe it was for the best for Chris Eubank Jr. because he did not look good. He did not look healthy.
No, he didn't, and that's a good call out, and that's the thing that I think needs to be said. I know that his father has really outspoken about his health, and they recently lost Chris Eubank Jr. lost his brother, and Chris Eubank Sr. had lost a son recently, tragically. Why would you put your thumb through that? Because you're right. I saw the picture where he's standing there. It don't look like he's crying, because he's in so much pain trying to make the weight. And then they had like a stipulation where they were going to have the rehydration was going to be really limited, where he only had a window of like a few hours, and he could only rehydrate 5 pounds more. So it's like, it's just, just way too much, and things happen for a reason. And maybe it was meant for this fight to not happen, because it was really setting up to be truly a tragedy on a lot of different levels, as far as like, as a fan, granted, obviously I'm all about, the US, but I love boxing as a whole globally. I was liking the trajectory of where they were taking Conor Benn, and to just derail it the way they have, for it to implode the way it has, is really frustrating. I mean, honestly, right now, can they reel this back in? Like, how can, I know that Eddie Hearn's the king of spin. How can he bring this back in?
King of spin. That's amazing.
I don't know. It's going to be difficult. I know people will forget about this, but there is a reason, and Gringo, you touched about it. There is a reason his father was, very concerned about this, and fathers knows best. You see what I'm saying? When you have that instinct, regardless whether you feel like your opponent is cheating or not cheating, let's just take that out of the equation. Just think about how hard it is to come down in weight. I mean, he looked ripped, but Hopper, you're right. He was not the Eubanks that we've seen before. And so with all that concern coming into this fight, knowing the caliber of and the talent that Conor Benn has, he's fucking powerful. But the problem is how long he's been doing this kind of shit. And that brings into for the fans and for
was
the
he popping dirty against Chris Algieri?
You gotta
Yeah.
You got to be able to make sure that you maintain a clean sport. And to my understanding, it's not from the get-go. It's just when the camp starts. You got to get these fighters to get to be tested often. They can't be advantages. And you said it, Hopper. This is a contact sport. People can really get hurt inside the ring. And so with that, it's going to leave a sour taste to every fan out there. Would people really forget about this? They will. I mean, Eddie Hearn knows how to put some cards together that people are gonna remember. Look what happened with Baby Bull Miller. Did people forget about that? Yeah, and they moved on. And so Ruiz came in and then shocked the world. And then what happened afterwards? But at the end of the day, man, a lot of people criticized Eubank's father, Senior. When he was making comments about this is a very dangerous fight that we may pull back, and there was a reason to that, and I criticize it. I think it was a showdown in the UK, but it's just not the right timing to pull out something just to get the country together and then make a huge fight. There are other fights that can be made, right? Why this one?
Yeah, and that's a great point. It wasn't like part of the trajectory is they were matching them up well. You mentioned Chris Algieri as far as in terms of Conor Benn. Right. If anything,
and then. No, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I'll go ahead, man. You got it.
No, I was just gonna say that maybe this kind of justifies you a little bit, Manny, because you knew that Algieri was gonna beat Benn. Remember when you picked him, but you didn't know that Benn was popping dirty. So this justifies you. You knew Algieri would have won, But you didn't know that Ben was testing dirty.
Well, I should
have
have explained a little bit more myself to be like, because in the future he's gonna come dirty.
He's gonna be dirty, yeah, because you knew Algeria was gonna win. But
all right, so just want to verify for those, because other things we want to touch on as well. Disappointed that this is happening. Obviously, it's still going to happen. It's just considered postponed at this moment. But right now, Hopper, you don't want to see this fight, correct?
I was excited to watch it. I mean, because it's boxing, and I wanted to watch a fight. Saturday afternoon special. You know how we love our Saturday afternoon delights.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely do. But as of right now, at this moment, do you want to see the fight?
I'm still conflicted, man. I'm still processing the emotions. I don't know. I don't think I do, man. With the way Chris Eubank looked, and now Ben popping dirty. I mean, for what? It was a stupid fight to begin with. Coming down divisions, neither fighter was going to be at their best. Nah, I mean, will I watch it if it's on? Of course. But am I going to? I mean, do I want it? No, I can't say I do, bro.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, Manny, what about you? Do you want to see it?
I really don't care. You know what I want to see? I want to see someone being held accountable for. Okay? Because let me tell you something. All right? We have these guys highly rated at 147 pounds. I feel horrible right now that we added these guys. We added Conor Benn into the mix of Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis. I mean, I feel so horrible that I had them almost coming up. And with this fight, and I talked about it. We talked about it in the show. If Conor Benn beats Eubank, he's going to move up to the second spot of any of those, Virgil or Boots Ennis. Now I feel like shit. I feel like horrible because honestly, it's just, and for me right now, I feel like I disrespected the other, elite top future contenders.
Disrespectful, Manny.
Just because I'm bringing him in here, but now look how all of a sudden everything is exposed. And so from a fan, I don't care to see this fight. Will I give a chance to Conor Benn in the future? Because the testing in boxing is so shaky. I don't know. And for me, it's not going to make sense. Sorry. I don't know. Will we forgive, Conor Benn? We'll see, but it's always going to have that asterisk. And let me tell you something. Baseball, right? They get suspended. Basketball, any other sports. Why haven't we seen any fine, suspension, or anything with this incident and many other incidents? It's got to stop, guys. Let's have a clean sport.
No.
Do you agree, Gringo? What about you? Do you agree with us?
Wait, hold on. I think I do.
Oh shit!
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep. Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Yep.
And the reason why I agree, we actually agree. I think that it was a fight that I was questioning in the beginning. Like my brother Hopper said, I was embracing it because I'm a sick fuck and I like to watch boxing. But then, like, the way it's unfolded, I'm like, man, you guys just got to step away. Like, I think the more they keep pushing to make it happen, the worse it's going to get. It's going to end badly.
Badly for somebody.
Yeah, sometimes, there's signs in the universe that kind of align it, like, let you know, just kind of walk away. This is one of them.
Preach, Gringo, yes.
Right. This has to, that's why, and I feel weird because we disagreed. So
the universe has spoken, man.
No, for real. The universe has spoken.
On a weird way, guys. And this is something that we have to really digest and say, wow, thank God this happened because this fight could. I mean, last time we saw Conor Benn in the ring, fucking monster. We've always said it. And so do we want another catastrophe inside the ring? No. So sometimes things have to happen for it to, take its course and not see some of the, issues we've had in the past. Put it in a new example, Richard Colon. See what I'm saying? So. And many others.
Many others.
Passed away, unfortunately, in the ring. And then, their lives, families and even fans, not the same. Enough is enough.
Well, at some point, you just got to kind of move on. And I think that's where we're at. The universe is saying that this shouldn't happen. And it's showing that it shouldn't happen. And, I don't think it should. We thought that in the beginning. And we're seeing that it probably shouldn't. All right, so there was a big fight card last night. I know one guy wasn't too excited about. Yep, our man Jermaine.
Both of them.
Yeah, Jermell Charlo.
It was the Charlo mandatory fights. Because now both of them I think are due mandatories to fight both Charlos with Adame and Fundora.
Yeah, that was my man. Everybody's favorite Charlo. That was Jermell in that clip of the annoyed side.
That's our favorite Charlo.
Yeah, the people's Charlo. You know what?
Charlo.
In the main event, and we'll get to that one right now. Start from the cherry on the top and break it down because they had a lot of juicy nuggets on that card. But we got to talk about our man Sebastian Fundora. Wow, what another
Towering Inferno.
The guy is 6'4.5", and he likes to fight on the inside. 80-inch reach. Who cares? He's had the frame and the build. He's like the praying mantis that won't stop. Hopper, what's your thoughts on him and just kind of in general, the infusion he brings as far as like the nonstop action? He's very vulnerable to a right hand, no question.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna start off with, Gringo. I was gonna say that he didn't look too impressive to me in this fight. I think I was more impressed with him against Lubin, because Erickson Lubin is a proven commodity, and we know what he can do. We know what he can bring. And I thought Fundora was tested not just physically but mentally also with the knockdown, surviving the knockdown and securing stoppage. But I don't think he looked as good yesterday. I think he I don't know if he played down to his competition or whatnot, but I think he might have to learn to utilize it. I kept screaming. I go, bro, you're 6 foot tall. That reach, just stay on the outside, keep him at bay. But he wanted to choose to continue to fight on the inside. I thought that was a detriment towards him, because he's pretty much negating his height. He's not fighting tall. He's fighting short. He's fighting to his opponent.
Not using that reach to his advantage.
Fighting on the inside at that big. I mean, he's a good inside fighter, solid inside fighter for sure. Yep. But I mean, you're giving the opponent a chance. And Ocampo was landing. I mean, Fundora is very easy to hit. So and Jermall Charlo, for I give him as much shit as we give him. He's got power in both hands. I mean, you don't want Charlo landing too many of those right hands, or one of the elite fighters. Lubin was having some success in that 7th round in their fight. I thought Fundora he did what he needed to do. I wasn't too overly impressed last night, but hey, win today, look good tomorrow is what they say on those. But I mean, he did his thing. He's tall. He's an attraction. So and now he becomes the WBC mandatory for Jermall Charlo. So we'll see what happens there. But we know they like to protect your boy Gringo. The PBC loves to protect Jermall.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as like 154 and Jermell Charlo, he does want to smoke. That's the thing we like about him.
Well, see, Jermell is different with the co-main event and Carlos Adame. Now he's in position for Jermell, and I think Jermell will accept that challenge. And Carlos Adame looked great yesterday. I mean, he obliterated Montiel.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. And as far as like the Sebastian Fundora fight versus Campo, I'm glad to have another vision as far as Campo, as far as that being something that stood out. I'm not going to say that I followed him closely, but I knew in 2019 I saw when he fought Errol Spence Jr. in Frisco at the Star, and I don't remember a lot of things clearly in my life, but I remember clearly at the end of the fight, Errol Spence apologizing to the crowd. Hey, they told me this guy was tough. Can you imagine? You're already in pain from a body shot, and then your opponents apologizing to the crowd. So it was pretty crazy. We got some comments right here we want to get to. JC, Towering Inferno, the GOAT. Salute, 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 and salute. Kulos, salute to you, brother. All right, so
Tower Inferno, the GOAT. Interesting.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at the.
I cannot believe my eyes.
All right, so our brother mentioned 2 fights we want to take a closer look at. Sebastian Fundora, looking at the overall numbers for you guys. So the total punches landed by Fundora, he threw 871, landed 259.
Jabs.
Body punches were 57, 30% overall. Looking at his jab, 16%. So he threw 365. Landed 59, so 16% of that long jab. Power punches, he's all about the power. 200 out of 506 out of 40%, close to that 50% that we like to see him at, and it does, kind of impact on the results of the fight. Now, looking at Carlos Ocampo and looking at what he did, he landed 192 out of 869 at a 27 to the body, 22% overall. only 8 jabs out of 216, landed 4%. Not going to make it happen that way, brother. And
Yeah.
he was sitting on the power trying to, make it happen, fighting in the pocket. But actually, it's weird how he was pretty much almost like a foot shorter, but had more at mid-range and mid-distance than fighting on the inside where he had the disadvantage. It was really weird. But I don't know if that's more about just bad strategy on the standpoint of Sebastian Fundora allowing himself to be get hit by that overhand right, or do you think it was a fact that he didn't respect Ocampo's power? Let's looking at the numbers as well, because there were several. I thought really you could see consistently Fundora was landing pretty much double, other than that third round. And the fourth round, it was pretty close, nip and tuck for the most part. Then you can see like the 6th round, like when they started fighting on the inside, Fundora started pulling away. 27 over 17 landed by Ocampo. 25 landed over 15 landed by Ocampo. 31 landed in the 8th round, where I really thought the fight was about to be stopped. It looked like Ocampo was really hurting pretty bad. And then 31 in that 10th round landed compared to 14 of Ocampo. And then 15 to 12. Then it tightened up at 17 apiece in the last championship round. And then a total 259 for Fundora. Ocampo 192. Anything stands out to you, brothers, on this?
Look at past 3rd round all to the 10th round. To the 10th round. If you analyze every fight from Fundora, it's exactly the same thing. And I disagree with you, Hopper, in terms of why risk it in the inside? That's how Fundora is. And so when he knows and understands his opponents, that he's gotten hit with a good shot, but he can take that shot, I'm gonna still come in with my game plan. And a lot of people expect him to stay in the outside because of the reach and the height. But the reality is, look at the power punches. And the power punches he had landed, there are in the inside when they're brawling, and this is what he's good at. So, for me, this is an opportunity for him to perfect his game plan. Although, if you encounter a top elite, opponent such as Jamel,
that's what I was gonna say.
You got to be very cautious. Your strategy has to be different. However, to get him into that level, you have to see the stats right here. What I would love to see maybe in the next fight is instead of 16%, let's double that jab to maybe a 30%. Would that maybe somehow allow the fans to understand that, hey, he might be a complete boxer and he's not going to get in trouble? Because let me tell you something. I mean, by the time he lands on one uppercut, Jermell is going to land 2 punches, and they're going to be nasty. You see what I'm saying? Even with anyone at the 154 right now, which the landscape's looking really good across the board. But right now, I still need to see him a little bit more with more,
and
Tony
that
Harrison
brawling,
perhaps, or any of those former champions, to see if he has what it takes to be consistent and being able to take down a undisputed champion.
Yeah, and that brawling that you mentioned, it works against limited opponents.
Right.
If you want to brawl at the elite level against a Jermell, just so we're clear, Sebastian Fundora is mandatory to Jermell, and Adame is the mandatory to Jermell. So if Fundora is going to go in there and brawl against Jermell, I don't think that's a recipe for success, brother. I mean, we love some Jermell, and that might have to stay on the outside for that one.
That's a great point. I'll go ahead and say it, because I know that we kind of didn't agree. No agree alarm on this one. That which fight was actually tougher? And I know originally, because coming off that Lubin fight, people were arguing that Tim Tszyu was just a money fight. I think Tim Tszyu is the harder fight to me.
I think it's the best of right now for
Jermell.
Yeah, for Jermell.
Which one's tougher? I think he beats both, but I think Tim Tszyu will probably give him a more difficult fight than Fundora.
Right now. Yeah,
right now. Even and Tim Tszyu actually, he's green in his own right for Jermell, but I think Jermell Charlo beats both.
You think that Tszyu will give a much better fight than Castaño did?
No,
right? Okay. Not the first Castaño. No.
So how about Fundora and Castaño? Is that something that should that be the test for Fundora Castaño?
That's the test he's gonna fail.
I think that's a good one, but Castaño, Castaño's elite in his own right, bro. Castaño's,
well, because we're keeping it 1,000, keeping it a buck, brother. Brian Castaño beat Jermell already
in the first fight.
Yeah. So I don't see no scenario where Sebastian Fedora could do that. So I think that as of right now, I didn't think it, but the planets are aligning where there could be a third fight. Really, I think those are still the two top guys.
I don't know. I don't know the way
Jermell and Castano, the two top guys.
The way Castano looked in the second one, it was. I mean,
Castano looked a little. He got his ass whooped, but he didn't.
I don't think it's
as the first one.
The first one, we can all say that he won, Castano won, but the second one, I think it was a very decisive one. And the way he did that fight, I mean, it just clearly showed that Jermell, I'm speaking, he is clearly the best Charlo, and clearly
easy. What about Carlos Adame versus Jamar? Who would you pick in that fight?
Carlos Adame versus Jamar? Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and real quick. Let's look at those numbers.
I cannot believe my eyes.
Got to give some thoughts on that one, Hopper. But we'll circle back on that one because I like it.
This one is
you don't?
Hell no.
Jermall all the way?
Huh?
Jermall?
Hell no, man. Carlos Adame goes in there and
really,
and I think edges it out. Decision. I don't think he knocks him out or anything, but I think he'll get the decision if the judges are actually watching the fight. Oh, hold on. We'll get the numbers go. My bad, Gringo. I'm stepping all over your segment.
Nah, that's fine. Like, I mean, we're talking boxing. That's what it's all about. So I had to go ahead. You got me on the back foot, but here I come back. So Carlos Adames, man, that brother. And you know what's crazy? They were actually booing the first round of this fight because it was a feel-out round. And then Carlos Adames was like, F that. You know, showing that power and, man, totally pounced on Juan Maciel.
Gringo, question for you. Are you gonna win a fight landing 0% of your jabs?
That's what I wanted to show. Like, it shouldn't take long to show it where the
46
were 15. But that's another thing too. It wasn't just the fact that just the overall power and how you overwhelmed him. But man, there was like a lot of inward movement and adjustments made and angles that Carlos Adames is not just like, you know, a brute beast, but you know, he's got some skill in there, man. 52% of the power landed. That's a win. All right. You land four. Look at that third round alone. Third round, he landed 45 punches, and most of them were like end your lifers. Okay. So he landed 167 punches. I'm talking about Carlos Adames, 67 punches out of 169, 33 to the body, which were brutal. 45% just overall punches. That's gonna win you. That's gonna win you a lot of fights. His jabs 37%, 29 out of 79. Power, my brother Hopper and I love this. 52% at this weight class is awesome. 47 out of 90. And then we have, this will go really quick, Montiel. And Montiel's name is brought up all the time when people bring up Jamal because he gave Jamal a lot of problems. Not to Carlos Adames, not at all. Now, I know it's styles make fights, but damn. All right, so 15 punches landed out of 101. 15 body punches, he landed 0. Jabs, he landed 0 out of 46 attempted. And then overall, the power punches 15, which is all he threw for the most part, 55. So 27%, which is respectable, but not when you're getting blasted. So additional thoughts you guys have on that one?
You know, so I had a chance to see Carlos Adames fight. You know, the Cosmopolitan a couple of years ago. He fought Patrick Teixeira.
I was gonna yes, that's the fight that's a gem of a fight. I think at the
big
time.
And then if you think about it, he was kind of performing well. It's just a matter of you know, a couple of mistakes here there that you know, Patrick just really dominated. And a lot of people
close fight, man. Close fight.
Is the Dominican really done? Is he peaked and coming down afterwards? Does he have another opportunity to probably contend and get a world title? And I said yes, and I think a lot of people were saying, "No, man, you couldn't beat, you know, Brazilian Teixeira." And then, you know, how are you going to expect to get into the elite level? And he has done so after that. 3 big fights coming in: Brian Medina, Alexis Salazar, and then Deverenchenko. Deverenchenko, yes, is probably a stepping stone for everyone, but he, you know, was a very, I don't want to say close fight. I think the judges see it closer than that, but he performed well, and it's not about the knockouts. It's about, you know, that endurance as a big boy and with a lot of power, what you have to make sure you keep that game plan all the way to the end of the championship rounds. And no, Carlos Adames is not done. And I think he has a legitimate chance to really beat Charlo. I believe so. I can't say a prediction right now, but I would tell you right now that will be a very, very good fight. to a very dangerous fight. But you said it, Hopper, and I agree with you on that one. Is the protection of the Charlos behind the PBC
of Jamal, not Jamel.
I mean the Charlos, both of them. That protection that PBC has behind them, it ain't gonna.
Are we doing that again? Are we still protect? We're not. Manny, you have to specify. There's two different people.
No, he said both.
Jamel is not protected. How is
he not protected, bro? Jamel wants to smoke. Jamel has proven.
Well, I mean, he's
proven smoke getter.
Yeah.
No, and I'll go ahead and say it. I've already said my prediction. I think Carlos Adame wins a decision over Jamal. I mean,
República Dominicana.
I think he does. In that fight, that Patrick Teixeira fight that you touched on, man, I was going to bring it up. Carlos Adame and Patrick Teixeira. When that fight was announced, man, I mean, you're talking about an under-the-radar gem that happened for boxing back in November of 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
The main event was Oscar Valdez.
Yes, but that fight, because
that became actually
Adames
the most exciting, entertaining fight that night.
Yes.
And Frampton was in there, too. And Amaris people were just screaming. I mean, they were just...
Because Patrick Teixeira is a good boxer in his own right, and Carlos Adame is as well. It was a close fight. I think Teixeira... he was getting whooped the first 6 rounds. He looked to be down, but he got that knockdown in the 7th, and that's what rallied him to win. I think they had him about a point difference on 2 scorecards, with one of the other scorecards being wider. So Carlos Adames is he's the truth, man. I think I want to see the PBC's excuses. Gringo, you're the PBC expert. You're the PBC apologist. How are they gonna keep Jamal Charlo away from this guy, man?
Well, actually, they got footage right now of Al Heyman right now. He's actually on the phone. He's in his room.
I know you're hurting, Shakur. I appreciate you stopping by. Great job.
Adames has to fight Jamal. He's like, what? He has to.
Now, what he's what he's hoping for, I really thought, when I say he's hoping for, I have no idea. But what I would imagine he would be hoping for as a person trying to guide a fighter to the path of wins and continued success would not be Carlos Adames. Like I know when it was mentioned before, we kind of threw it around, but I'll have to mention this name too since we're talking about 160. I try not to because I get fired up and it frustrates me. But Jaime Munguia, remember that was the next fight when the Charlo fight fell apart. The fight they wanted to make, but actually. Oscar De La Hoya shot it down even quicker, and I was like, "Why would you shoot down?" Now I get it. You want no part.
Now it makes sense.
They don't
want no part of this dude, bro. He's gonna be avoided. Carlos Adame is gonna be avoided at 160. Munguia's there. Munguia's super protected. If Jamal Charlo's protected, Munguia is in the same boat as
both are trying to protect that donut, and I just don't understand. I mean, look at clearly. We're talking about Carlos Adames who lost the fight.
Patrick Teixeira, and that was a hell
of
a
fight.
And then
he's got. You see what I'm saying? So a loss doesn't define your career. No. However, why is the protection in someone where we want to see him elevate? If he's going to be at the elite level, is he going to be the best Charlo out of the both of them, or is he going to fight the best? And clearly, none of these fights are fights that people want to see. Hopper, when you think about the casuals, they don't want to see, with Carlos Adames and then Charlo, they want to see Charlo against Jaime. They want to see Charlo against Bubu Andre. They want to see Charlo against some of these other guys that even Benavidez. So, with that, I just love for something to happen. We're due for that. Even Triple G. Well, put Triple G in the mix there. That would be a really, really
he's still around.
No, he's
I mean, Sean hadn't retired him yet. Have you, Sean?
No, not yet.
But he's still the champ. Is he still the champ? He's still the champ.
It's one thing about 160 that's frustrating to me, probably more than any other division, because you have
not more than 135.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Well, 135 is getting more interesting but at least some of these.
But they don't fight each other either.
The only problem is some of them are emerging right now, and they're being treated as the boogeyman, and I'm talking about
Cepeda.
I said Pitbull. Whoa,
Cepeda, Pitbull.
So, I mean, okay,
this is what makes it interesting.
Answered like 135. The reason why is
Stevenson moving up.
There, Stevenson there, right? Also, you got Undisputed, right?
Yeah.
We're getting Undisputed this weekend. It doesn't feel like it, but we are.
Yeah,
so
nobody's excited for it.
Weird.
Yeah, no one cares about it, even in Australia.
No one cares about it.
Everyone knows the outcome.
So Hanky's gonna go in there and beat him up again.
Yeah, I mean, even though George Kambosos is like this,
I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
But wait, maybe when he's knocked out on the ground,
right?
160 because all respect to my H-Town brother, but Jamal is long in the tooth and it doesn't make sense to me. You got Janabek, and he's going to get a fight coming up soon, I believe November 5th. He has a fight. He's going to be the main event, and you got Superbad on the undercard, so looking forward to that. So you got these guys, but it's like their own lanes. Like, we talk about other side of the street and that whole dynamic. 160 has like its own multiverse. Like fighters are just like in their own bubble, and
you got to collect all the Infinity Stones to even try to get them to fight each other.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So my point again, and I hear what my brother Manny was saying as far as Adames, no one's going to be excited. See, I would. Because
I would love to see him fight anybody.
I didn't say I'm not excited. I'm saying casuals and people.
He doesn't like Adames.
I know what he meant. Like, it's not the name. Like, they would hear the name.
Yeah.
We would be like, oh shit, like for real?
And then someone will be questioning me, Manny, why are you excited about this fight? And that gives me a chance to explain them.
And that's what
because, like I said, not all the whole high profiles needs to be.
It would be the same. It would be the same excitement that we have for, say, a Chon versus Regis. Right. That kind of level of excitement. Adames fighting.
Is it the excitement because you want to finally see someone try to beat Charlo? Or is it the excitement?
We kind of see. Montiel kind of gave him the business in his last fight, and so we've seen people take it to Jamal. And Jamel for that.
So that's another thing. Like when you have another name, another potential threat that you throw in the mix, it really forces where. I know we were joking about it, but he hasn't retired yet. But to me, I think this kind of clears the path that I think Triple G and Charlo is going to happen.
It has to.
It has to now.
Because Charlo, Jamal, and Janabek, it's not going to happen.
No.
Jamal and Adames is not going to happen. No
Neither
way.
Jaime Munguia.
Right. But
that's not going to happen.
So what does that leave?
It leaves
in a payday. He's networking. He doesn't have the network anymore.
That's what I told you.
I know
Don't you think that PBC, Al Heyman, Charlo, they want the opportunity to get the other Charlo an undisputed chance? So it's two belts away. I mean, 2 fights away. At least he unifies, and then we'll see if that Janibek fight may happen. But that's what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, that's what I see from it. I see it like addition by subtraction, kind of, because like it's less likely to happen for another fight. So it kind of clears the path for another fight that is possible. Like it was semi-possible because of vulnerability and because Triple G didn't engage versus Canelo. Like, okay, this might be the time. Like, I don't know what they're waiting for. I mean, he's literally in his 40s, like, damn, if you're not going to fight him now, and it still is a good payday. So I'm thinking like, there's nowhere to go anymore is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like there's nowhere to go. If he like, I'll say this though, and I'll go live as soon as they announce it. If they were to announce Jamal Charlo versus Carlos Saldana, I would give him the ultimate respect. That's a dangerous fucking fight.
On the spot.
That's a cherry pick on top of a Hall of Fame career. That's the cherry on top of a Hall of Fame career.
I thought you said cherry picking.
No. I misspoke. My bad. Let me delete those. The cherry on top.
Cherry on top. Yeah, exactly. Sprinkles.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to some of these comments. I don't want to disregard our brothers in the chat. Saludos. Danny PR78, much love, brother.
Saludo, primo.
Fresh McLean, Long Live Boxing, my podcast brothers. Shout out. 135 is talented.
Indeed.
I agree.
Super.
Smiles from my brother.
Shakur coming up.
Danny PR, a big part of the main problem with all these fighters being protected, some of these great possible fights not being made, are the sanctioning bodies. Mandatories need to be enforced.
And you know who does enforce the mandatory? The IBF does enforce the mandatories. So, and I hate to bring this up, but if that Crawford Spence fight doesn't happen, the IBF, they will enforce Boots Ennis to fight Errol Spence. So he's in between a rock and a hard place. So
and I kind of like that.
We're gonna get something. We're gonna get a fight. If that fight doesn't happen, we're gonna get Boots in the mix.
I kind of like that
enforce their mandatory
enforcements of it. Although I criticize it a lot because if I was the boxer, you're making me fight with someone that I'm here to make money. I'm here to entertain people, and so sometimes they force this mandatory. So you're like,
we need to applaud the IBF.
But at times,
the IBF seems to be the only organization that enforces the mandatories and actually makes them do it.
Although the WBA is also, pulling in.
I got like 10 belts.
No, man, good stuff. So, real quick, as we kind of wrap things up about that card, it was an entertaining card. Mean Machine looked great. He always does. He's always bringing the pain. Shout out to our man, Eddie, the Kid Vasquez.
Kid Vasquez, footwork.
Got a dub.
Shout out
Way to
to him.
represent.
Great
Card,
fight, man.
Just good card, but this weekend, big fight.
Qué lindo, él dijo responde. ¡Ay, mierda!
Man, so it's going down. We got the ladies coming back.
I'm going to that body. I'm snatching her ovaries.
Snatching her over. I mean, I love
that.
Woo!
Big night for women's boxing. And we also got
heavyweights.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we go. So on the 15th, that is a Saturday, we got a little action.
Afternoon Delight.
Afternoon Delight, my friends, my brothers, is going down.
Afternoon Delight. You guys have it, I think. Afternoon Delight.
On ESPN Plus, title fight, Michaela Mayer, Elisa Bumgarner, 10 rounds. Mayer for WBO, IBF, women's junior lightweight, and Bumgarner's WBC junior lightweight. So it's a big time unification.
And then Shields.
And then Shields.
Larissa Shields.
Savannah Marshall,
bad blood in both those fights.
WBC, IBF, WBA, women's middleweight title, and Marshall's WBO, women's middleweight. And for a new belt, I believe the WBC.
The Elizabeth belt or something like that. They
Elizabeth.
created a belt for rest in peace for
Some kind of belt, yeah.
Queen Elizabeth.
The Queen belt. I don't want to insult the Queen.
I think it's the Elizabeth belt. I'm pretty sure it's the Elizabeth belt.
Yeah, you're closer than what I was about to say. I was about to say something off the wall. And if you still haven't got enough boxing because there's more
belts,
you
perhaps
get the most undisputed, underrated, untalked about, but we're going to talk about right now. October 15th, Melbourne, Australia. Watch at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Plus. Devin Haney, George Combosos 2, 12 round for undisputed lightweight. 135, staying alive. And then if you still want some more and you got some money in your pocket.
More boxing.
Why money in your pocket? Do we have a pay-per-view? Is that what it is?
It is. Brooklyn, New York. Stand up, Brooklyn. Fox pay-per-view, Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius.
It'll be worth it, man. The comeback of Wilder. Who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch. But I'll tell you what, though,
100%.
if the women were fighting at the same time as Deontay Wilder was,
oh no, yeah,
I'd be
that
watching
would
the women.
Yeah, but then remember,
Well, because it's free.
overseas,
And then,
so. Afternoon Delight, Hopper. Don't ruin it.
Right, come on, definitely.
I won't hate on that Deontay Wilder fight. I'll be watching.
But you'll be watching.
I will.
I know who you want. Yeah, I know who you want to see.
Which one are you most excited to see, Hopper? You got it first.
The girls, bro. I want to see. These are some of the best matchups that can be made in women's boxing, and they're going to be on one night. You're talking about both these women, like we can tell because we've been talking about boxing for years. We can kind of tell when the animosity is fake. Like when it's these girls, they're testy with Michaela Mayer and Bumgarner, and then Shields and Savannah Marshall. There's bad blood between them, man, and it always makes for a more intriguing fight. Like there's more when the energy is genuine like that. It's exciting.
No, I definitely agree.
I'm excited it's time for the women to shine, baby, and I'm here to support that. I'm all for it.
Man, I'm all supporting them too.
Eat your ass.
Here we go. Sure, why not? All right, so Manny, which are you most looking forward to? You got 3 big time cards.
Big time cards.
Which fight are you most looking forward to? I know how much you despise Devin Haney, and you want
you hate my boy, Manny. I can't believe you.
How
boy.
excited would you be, man? I set it up. Sorry,
Kevin Bosa's knocks him out.
It's gonna be
Cambosos just fucking
it's gonna be the same fight. It's gonna be exactly the same fight. Cambosos will not get into Haney. Haney will dominate from top to bottom. And you know what? Look out. Haney doesn't have that huge power, but look out for him to probably make a statement and knock him out and say that's it, man. This is done. However, I like Hopper's idea. I like Hopper's watching the women boxing. We got to support it, and this is gonna be instant classic. We're gonna see this because it's a true rivalry. However, I've never been jumping up and down when it comes to Wilder, and I can't wait to see him back.
That's true. That's true.
He's going to bring a lot.
Happy for him.
It's going to bring a lot into the heavyweights in the future fights that are about to happen. It starts right here for him. and I'm really super extremely excited not to pay $79 for a pay-per-view. However, semi-com, I want to see him, and I want to be able to see that 2-second punch that we all fell in love for 40 fights when he knocked 40 people out straight in the round.
The windmill?
Right there. Let's see what happens. Maybe, hopefully, he's not done, and which I doubt that. I really doubt that, Helenius will win this fight or maybe can knock him out. But you know what? Who knows? 2 punches, ring.
Yeah, I mean, not just from the historical standpoint, that's a great point, brothers. But if you think about it, not just the animosity, they are the better fights. Like the female card is the better.
It is. It really no questions.
It really is.
Questions.
Like it definitely is. And I can't wait to see. I'm calling it right now that Clarissa Shields and Elisa Baumgartner come up on the short end.
Oh, what?
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
What are you drinking or smoking?
Yeah,
I mean, Michaela Mayer winning, I could see that one. That's theoretically possible, but
think about it, brothers. Think about it. All right,
Savannah's big girl. She's a big girl.
If she doesn't get a knockout or knockdowns, and it goes to the scorecards,
the judges are gonna give it to Savannah. I like your thinking, Gringo. I like your thinking.
I've been watching boxing for a while. All right, so don't get discouraged. Okay, all right.
Female boxing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Female boxing.
All right, so last words, final thoughts, Hopper.
Final thought. I think there's a man out there who is given the boxing media, boxing a national spotlight. He is the voice, for better or for worse. He is pretty much our champion. And that's Max Kellerman, Max on Boxing. I think while boxing fans need to support his show, it's only 30 minutes. It comes on ESPN, but he's the one he's the driving force behind boxing. And he wants to see the fights because he's a fan. And if you just watch him and listen to him, he puts these promoters and these people on blast. Like he put Al Heyman on blast the other day for not being transparent with Errol Spence, with Terrence Crawford. He put the whole situation on blast, and he pretty much blamed Al Heyman and saying that they don't believe their guy can win. So Max Kellerman speaks the truth, and I just think that boxing fans should probably support his platform because it's one of the few platforms that we have for in the national media like that on ESPN. So. Max on Boxing, I'm calling out for all boxing fans. Show some love to this guy. Tweet him because we'd hate to see it go off the air because then we'd pretty much be stuck without any national coverage for our sport that we love so much.
Sucks.
Well said, brother. Appreciate that. Manny, you got the floor, brother.
I got the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, December 3rd. When we talk about trilogies, we talk about amazing fights, and we got none of the other. The number 3, Juan Francisco Estrada against Chocolatito. A lot of people thought that Chocolatito won the second fight, and Estrada got the first fight. So guess what? We're at it again. We're excited. I got my chocolate in hand, and I am going to be all the way. And I get you. That's your boy Hopper. In this case, we ain't gonna disagree. Not a Puerto Rican Mexican. However, Chocolatito has captured the hearts of many, many fans. At his age, he's still at the elite level, and he's going to put up a show. Unfortunately, the co-main event is like the 7th time they've tried to make this fight happen, and that is Mac Williams Arroyo against
El Rey.
None other. The who? Hopper?
El Rey Martinez.
El Rey. I don't know what's going on with him, but
this
I
do
do
want
want to see this getting away. We're still hunting for the number 63rd champion for Puerto Rican boxing. Could this happen December 3rd? There's an opportunity. There's a chance. He popped them pretty good. However, we'll see how Martinez.
It's crazy. That's one of the bigger surprises. Like, the fact that they made Regis Prograis and John Zapata a pay-per-view, that makes sense. The fact that this fight is the co-main on a legendary fight, and it blew my mind.
I'm coming from because it's mind-boggling to you, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely mind-blowing to me for sure. So absolutely, man. Great.
What about you? What about you, Sean? What do you got?
Well,
Long Live Boxing says Chocolatito all day. Okay.
Woo! That's what
true.
I'm talking about.
That's true. That's what we say. Shout out to
right.
Team
Gallo.
Oh, gringo,
Let's go, Gallo.
Hey, yo. But yeah, I just want to say real quick, thank you guys so much for spending time with us and listening to the show on the audio version and also spending time with us live. Thank you for those in the chat. We're going to bring it every single week, bring it hard, fast, and heavy. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to the Boxing Showcase. They're also putting on a show in Odessa, Texas, the Pan American Ballroom. They do great shows there. Definitely check them out. They got a great stat card full of local talent and fun fights that you won't want to miss. Shout out to them for doing their thing. And again, shout out to you guys for taking time out of your day. And we look at our show as not the end of your week, but the beginning of your week. And so we want to make sure we start you guys off the right way. And we know we appreciate you guys so much for all that you do, for taking time to be with us, and much love. Enjoy the fights this weekend. We cannot wait. Next show is going to be even more bananas. We cannot wait. Much love to you guys.
I got one thing to say.
Go ahead.
One thing to say. How about them Cowboys? Bam!
Show jinx.
Cooper Clutch. Let's go, Cooper Rush.
Long Live Boxing, you know, they're awesome supporters of our show every Wednesdays. Please, everybody go follow them.
EnVivo. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Hey.
Always breaking it down like it is, like it should